Hello YouTube, Shadow Hero 90 here. As you can already tell, I've been doing this show for about 3 years at this point, and in addition to the reasons as to why I do this, which I brought up last year, I am now actually going to state a few more reasons why I do this. One of which is that the portrayal of men in movies and TV is essentially toxic. And I mean really toxic. Men are... To be honest, I can't believe that I'm one of the only very few people who legitimately thinks that this kind of portrayal is not only toxic, but completely unfair. Second of which is the fact that these cartoons are aimed at kids, and they do not send a good message. Most of the time, a lot of these shows are role model shows, and the characters exist for the sole purpose to be imitated, and yeah, in doing so, you send some really horrible messages. And the last possible reason I could think of is that not this, but all these shows are pushing a political agenda. To be more precise, the political agenda comes in the form of a princess character whose initials are J and B. I'm pretty sure you can figure out who I'm talking about on those initials alone. But yes, a lot of these shows, and to extension, a lot of these role model shows, are pushing a political agenda. And as a white heterosexual man, I really don't want kids being indoctrinated because it could lead to a bad future. In fact, I really hope some really smart boy sees this show and it actually gets him thinking about sexism, and it causes him not to be indoctrinated to the feminist agenda that a lot of TV shows, cartoons, and movies are pushing. Especially a certain movie that will go unnamed that used a princess character whose initials are J and B to push their political agenda. As much as this intro actually does seem like a bad rant about the negative presentation of men and boys in the media, this is completely serious, and these 3 reasons I gave for doing the show are actual reasons. Now, that being said, if you agree with me on this, that's good. So just sit back and enjoy the review. Super Sentai, I really gotta say, I did expect better from you. In the episode Suddenly a Traitor, you know, I really like Japanese TV. Excluding the superhero shows, I like most of the stuff that I watch comes from Japan. And to be honest, episodes like Suddenly a Traitor are shit. I watch a lot of Japanese anime because for the most part, they don't pull episodes like this. They don't pull stunts like this. So allow me to give you a summary of what happens in this episode. O Pink and O Yellow are shopping while they're on patrol, which technically, if you know anything about women, is the equivalent of playing hooky. Then the episode's villain, Bara Darts, appears, and the male ohrangers are the first ones to show up to fight him. And in this episode, since all of the male characters, or at least most of them, have been derailed as characters, one of them is stupid enough to compliment the bad guy on his dart firing. Bara Darts distracts O Blue, O Green, and O Red, only to shoot them with poison darts while they're distracted. Then the female ohrangers arrive, and they run away. We find out that the male ohrangers have been infected with some kind of virus that will make their flesh and bones rust like metal, and they only have 3 hours until they'll be back to normal. O Pink and O Yellow try to fight Bara Darts, but they fail. O Yellow essentially pleads for her life like a coward, and it should be more than obvious to any idiot that she's just pretending. This is all just an act. Bara Darts orders O Yellow to destroy O Pink, as in kill her. A fight almost broke out, but O Pink ran away. Then Bara Darts' king, the ruler of the Machine Empire, basically tells him not to let his guard down because human women are very good at deceit, or in this case, manipulating you until they get what they want. Another fight between O Pink and O Yellow breaks out. O Pink is clearly losing, and she asks for help from Bara Darts. O Pink allows herself to get hit by the poison needle and begs for Bara Darts to save her. She asks for the antidote and reveals that she was wearing an armored breastplate underneath the sexy outfit the whole time. O Yellow reveals that it was all just an act to get the antidote and that she fooled Bara Darts. Oh Pink did not know it was an act, so this easily could have backfired. And as it turns out, Bara Darts did not fall for the act either. He had the real antidote the whole time. Oh Pink pulls a trick on Bara Darts, lying, saying that the chief developed his own antidote, which in a way is kind of true. These male ohrangers are revealed to be holograms. Oh Pink takes the antidote back to the base. They all return to help Oh Yellow in time, with the revelation that the chief turned the clocks forward by 10 minutes to motivate them. And wait, what? So basically, from what I can gather, the chief is the real hero in this episode, not Oh Pink or Oh Yellow. That essentially destroys this entire plot and makes you wonder what the writers were thinking when they pumped this bullshit script out. To make a long story short, they kill Bara Darts, and then the girls make the men take them shopping. Okay, this episode is insulting on a number of levels. She says that it goes without saying that they should buy them clothes. Okay, that is unbelievably hypocritical, spoiled, and brain-dead logic. By that logic, every time, say, Captain Goro, aka O-Red, saved them by using his own personal robot, Red Puncher, these two should have been his maids for a week. Or cheerleaders, or insert servant title here. If anything, in the upcoming episodes when he gets Red Puncher, every time O-Red saves them, by the logic of these two nitwits, they should be his servants for anywhere between a day to a week, based on how strong the Bara machine of the episode is. And this brings up another bit of hypocrisy in this episode. The ruler of the Machine Empire says that the creature known as woman is skilled at deceit, and he gets scolded for it. Ironically, he was right. He was one of the smartest characters in this episode. If Bara Darts had actually listened to him, they would have won, which isn't exactly good, but you should see the point I'm trying to make. You want a good version of this episode? Have it so that when Bara Darts attacks, he infects all 5 of the Ohrangers, which leaves it up to the chief to save the day by using one of the many giant robots that he built. He's the smartest man in the show, and he could easily do something, and he's got enough free time to build a whole army of giant robots to crush the Baranora Empire. And then the episode would end with a joke about the chief becoming an Ohranger himself. Kind of like a mixture of promotion and demotion. Again, I ask, why Super Sentai? Why do this? I watch shows like this because they, for the most part, avoid pulling shit like this. they do not pull stunts like this. For the most part, in Japanese TV, men are actually given a fair representation, which is one of the reasons why people, most of which in America are actually saying that anime is superior to Western TV. Why did you have to, I ask again for the last time, why did you have to do this, Super Sentai? If you wanted to take some of the ohrangers out of commission, there are at least 30 different ways you could have done it, and it would not have been sexist. And believe it or not, this episode's ending is actually more insulting than I portrayed it. After forcing them to buy them clothes, the female ohrangers make their male teammates buy them fugu. Scenario played out because they were playing hooky. I mean, what kind of message does that send? The reason most of the stuff I watch is Japanese is because they specifically don't pull, well, it's not like they don't pull stunts like this, but they try to avoid it as much as possible. They actually give their male characters fair representation. To be even more blunt, this scenario would be, well, imagine how this would go over if the male ohrangers saved the female ohrangers and then not only demanded that they act as their personal cheerleaders, but essentially branded them as their maids for an entire week. If anything, that should have happened. By the logic of how many times this guy has saved the day, I can't believe that the pink and yellow ohrangers haven't been cleaning his house or cooking for him for the past 6 months. Most of the stuff I watch on TV is Japanese anime, but that's because they give their male characters an actual fair representation. They've never once stooped down to the women have to save the men plot or the freaking Amazon plot that has been done to death and makes writers like me or any other good person who happens to be a writer or artist want to create a rapist anti-hero out of protest. This is why I am very disappointed in Super Sentai for this episode. They should know better. I'd understand if this were Power Rangers. I'd understand if this was coming from an American show. But coming from a Japanese show, all I gotta say is, Super Sentai, you should know better. Toei, you should fucking know better. In January of last year, I reviewed the episode of Super Sentai, Suddenly a Traitor, as the 23rd episode of Sexism in Movies and TV. And in this episode, I'm going to be reviewing another episode from the Super Sentai series and comparing it to that one. The episode in question is from Super Sentai Megaranger titled Very Bad, We Will Die. And like in the last episode of Sexism in Movies and TV, I'm going to give a short little recap before I go into the comparison. This episode starts with the Megarangers as their secret identities eating teriyaki, when suddenly a moth monster flies around spreading poisonous powder. The Megarangers show up, fight the moth monster, and later that night the 5 members of Megaranger are called into their base. They see these marks, which are essentially proof that they've been infected with a poison that's gonna kill them. They try to find a cure, even though their mentor is working on it. And with only 6 hours left, they decide to live their lives to the fullest, doing stuff that they've always wanted to do before they kick the bucket. Miho, aka Mega Pink, sees a wedding dress, and this brings up the fact she always wanted to get married, and decides. And while Kenta, Mega Red, is stuffing his face, he runs into a boy he knows who tells him about a new fighting game coming into the arcade, and wanting to play this game with that boy allows him to come to the conclusion that he can't give up hope and has to keep fighting. The chief calls in and tells them that if they can chop off a piece of the moth's body, they can make a cure from it. Even though they said it would merely be a chance, after everything they witnessed, the inspiration for them to regain hope, they decided to take it. So anyways, they chop off a part of the moth monster's body and take it back to the chief, and him and the lab boys will essentially make an antidote from that part of the moth's body. The antidote is made, and the doctor gives them the antidote. Mothman here gets big, and then the Megarangers kill him with their giant robot. Recap adjourned. Okay, now I'm gonna explain through a comparison why Very Bad, We Will Die from Super Sentai Megaranger worked, where suddenly a traitor from Super Sentai ohranger did not. and get all of the reward while the chief doesn't get anything. And it probably is in bad taste to have the members who save the day only be able to fight the bad guy because they, skipped work. Well, on the other hand, if these guys ever skipped work, they'd get chewed out and be called lazy. I watch shows like this because they usually don't have such a goddamn leftist, pathetic, double standard. And if you want the truth, the episode of Megarangers that I compare this episode to is Suddenly a Traitor done right.